Hello, Julie here and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm sharing a layout that I created for Mystical Scrapbooks for their September challenge. Now the challenge for the month is to use a sketch and something extra, and my challenge is to use this particular sketch from PageMaps and add stitching. I've gathered up some supplies to use and I'm going to use Kaisercraft's Native Breeze paper range, and I'm going to use these 6 small photos that were taken on one of my walks along the River Torrens. The photos have all been trimmed down so they're exactly the same size. They are 2 7/8 inches square, so that when I mat them they will be 3 inches square. So here's a bit of a flip through of the papers that I have, and I'm going to choose from these papers which ones to use. So I chose the pink Protea paper for my background, but I wanted to have a white frame around it, so I've cut a 1-inch frame out of some white cardstock. I used my Versacolour black ink cube to ink around both the pattern paper and the white cardstock. Once I've finished that, I used double-sided tape to attach the 2 layers to each other. I then used my paper piercing tool and a stubby holder that I've cut apart as a base so that I can poke through and make 2 holes, about 3/4 of an inch I guess from the top of the layout. This is where I'm going to put my first string. I'm going to use brads. I've got some medium-sized black brads that I'm going to use. I'm going to put the brad in, wrap the crochet cotton, which is what I use for the twine, around the brad, pull it, well not very tight, but pull it across the page and wrap it around the second brad. Before I add any more twine to my page, I decided to mat my photos. As I said, all of the photos are the same size. So I've cut all of my photo mats 3 inches square. I've also filed around each of my photos with an emery board and then inked it with my black Versacube. My next step was to attach some chipboard scraps to the back of my photo, because I want the photos to be risen off of the page so that the crochet cotton can go behind it if need be. Once I had my photos assembled on their mats, I took them to my sewing machine, stitched around the edge of them. I also stitched around the edge of my layout where the pattern paper meets the white cardstock. I used straight stitching and zigzag stitching on those and just straight stitching on the photos. I used the same materials and the same method to add 2 more lines of the crochet cotton to my layout. I've been using crochet cotton on my layouts for some time because I find it nice and soft. It's easy to bend, and you can also colour it with the inks or sprays, anything like that, so you can always have something that matches exactly what you want. Now that my lines are all in place, I position my photos where I want them, and I use some mini wooden clothes pegs to hold them in place. I bought these little pegs at Cheapest Chips, I think, and they've come in very handy. So So I'm going to now attach my photos to my page, and I have used foam tape here so that I do get plenty of dimension. As I'm putting the tape on these and positioning them, I'm pulling them down slightly so that we get that nice curve in the crochet cotton. Now I've used some dies, Spellbinder's Labels 1, Do Craft's Scalloped Hearts and Dynamics Just the Ticket dies to cut some embellishments from the same, so some of the papers from the same range. I've used Eucalyptus, that's the one that's the label up the top there. I've used the Native Flock, which is the red that I've cut the tickets with. I've used Flowering, which is that leafy one that's I've also cut some tickets from. And I'm also going to use some of the Curios, which are the glass buttons that you can see there on the left. To give some of my embellishments a bit more detail, I used a Sizzix embossing folder that has spots on it, and another one, a Cuttlebug one that has a script on it, and I've put those through my Big Shot so that we get some texture on those pieces of cardstock. So I'm just messing around here, deciding what's going to go where, and once I've made my mind up, I will go ahead and attach all of these embellishments. I'll use a combination of foam tape and glue. Time now to create my title. I'm going to use the Labels one that I cut, it's a middle-sized one. I'm using my T-square ruler, which is not really all that helpful at this point because there's no level edge, but I draw a couple of lines across my label where I'm going to use those white stickers there on the left to attach or create my title. I have a couple of goes at getting the spacing correct. I bought the stickers from my local scrapbooking store. I bought a whole heap of both white and black at the time. Come in handy. Once I had my title stickers in place, I hand wrote the date on there, but I didn't get it straight and I wasn't happy with it, so I end up covering that over with a piece of the same cardstock that the label is made of. Now I go ahead and use double-sided tape to attach that to the layout in the position I want it to be. I choose 3 of the Curios that come with this paper range to add to the layout. It was looking a bit as if it was missing something, so I decided to use my Office Mate paint marker in extra fine in black and just do a false or a faux running stitch along my elements. I did this for all of the elements and I think it made quite a good difference. And that completes my layout for today, but at the end of the close-ups I'm sharing with you a layout that I did using this sketch some years ago. I just love the sketch and I really enjoyed making it, and I hope you enjoy looking at it. Thank you for watching my video today. I hope you have enjoyed it, and if you have, I hope you can join me when I share my next video.